our controllers will let us know they haven't received your invoice yet.
Armchair Chirpers Inc. That's the business email. Freaking hoops they want you to jump through the banks nowadays. I said to the lady, I said, we're not making any money. Oh. I said we're bankrupt. We're bankrupt already. You want to be a supplier? Yeah. Yeah. But she was like, Tyler gets his. I forget where Tyler gets his stuff. It's my shirt's been washed a bazillion times. It's still good. It's better than them. They're supplement. So it's supplementation, so it stays better than.
Yeah, just as long as we're not compromising quality, right? Like if the quality's the same and it's a lot cheaper, but at the end of the day, it's about building the relationship. Even if we got to spend a couple more dollars, if we get good service from Mosaic, then I would.
Well, I think that if this run goes well, then we charge for it. So if it's 40, 15 for a hoodie, like a hoodie, that's 48, 15 doing a discount. So
65's not bad.
65, you look around.
Yeah.
The Irish.
Should we start that count?
There's no counter now.
Oh,
We
isn't
took
it?
it off. Just so we were down it. It's gray. Now we're not.
Here we go.
We can start that all over again. Nobody heard us.
Take 2.
Yeah. It's just the 3 of us tonight. I was singing. Let's not do that again.
Oh, boy. Anyways, welcome, everyone. Armchair Chirpers, episode 35. The 3 of us tonight. We've had some great guests in the last couple of weeks. The reception that we've gotten from our audience has been unprecedented in the category of listenership, averaging over 400 listeners per episode.
Unbelievable.
Last year, we were very happy and content with, 70 to 80, which is still...
70, 80, that was later on in the season. We were getting 40 to begin with, and I was like, yeah.
So,
40 people like us.
Round of applause for almost 1,300 downloads in 3 episodes. So, just incredible momentum, and thanks be to you guys.
Yeah, everybody for listening and watching and whatever you do.
So appreciative. Yeah. Like, this wouldn't happen if people didn't watch and listen to us, and so we're very grateful, folks. Thank you.
Yeah. So as we were saying, as we were muted, we were talking about the ball games this afternoon. Atlanta and the Mets each had to win a game to go in. If one of them doesn't win, they're out. Well, the Mets won game 1, and it was a roller coaster of a game. I got home from work, and it was 3-0 Atlanta. I thought, okay. So I did some cleaning up around the house, still watching. 8th inning. And all
That's
of a sudden,
when the fireworks started.
And it was just turned wild. The Mets score 6.
Yeah.
And it's 6-3. Then Atlanta comes up, and they score 4.
Yeah.
It's 7-6. And I'm going, now Atlanta's going to win. Because Diaz was pitching, and he was walking guys, You don't usually see that from Diaz. Then in the 9th inning, Lindor comes up and hits a 2-run bomb. Ball game.
Crazy.
So Mets are in, and Atlanta needs to win the next game, or they're going home.
No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Well, then the Diamondbacks get in if Atlanta loses the second game. So it's a lot of interesting.
Well, it's a fun time of
going
year
on.
for sure.
Oh, it's a great time of year. Just look at the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah. What a
The
story.
reason why they're in, they go 17-7 in the month of September.
Yeah.
They were, 10 games out in August?
Oh, they were sellers at the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian Shanks, Detroit Tigers. There you go, Shanker.
Yeah. All those...
he got mad because we didn't talk
Kirk
about
Gibson and 84 Tigers
Sparky
fans.
Anderson, Chet Lemon.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Doyle Alexander.
Alexander.
Pulled that out of nowhere.
Wow.
Doyle.
That's coming out of
well, of course, and then you have, Alan Trammell. You have Darrell Evans at first base. Galarraga. The list goes on, and those were the days for the Tigers.
What a cool place, though. Like Tiger Stadium. I remember my dad took us there, my brother and I, for a doubleheader, and KC was playing. And I was just in awe of how close we were, like to see Gibby and all those guys like warming up and the batter or in the on deck circle. Like it was just it
very
was,
intimate.
It was so small.
I thought you were in awe because you survived the ride in to the stadium.
Well, it was a day game. Like it started at 1:00, so
that
we
was
got
probably
out of
in
there
your
before
best
the
interest.
night. Absolutely.
Days,
I was at the old Chicago Stadium for a night game. That was scary.
Comiskey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
when we were in Chicago 8 years ago, we went to see the Jays at Wrigley, and then we won. We had a free night, and I said, "Let's go to the White Sox game." So I asked the concierge, and he goes, "Do you really want to do that?" I go, "Why?" And he says, "Well, if you want to do it, I'll tell you how to get there, and you get off the train, you go to the stadium."
Yeah.
And he says, "You go in the stadium, watch the game, and then you leave.
Straight back to
nothing to look at there, sir." And I go, "Okay, we're not going."
Yeah. What a great town that is, Chicago.
Yeah, we were just there in August. It was a special experience to be at Wrigley, and we happened to get a ball from batting practice, and just those little things. And the Jays won 1-0, but you might think that is a boring game. It actually turned out perfect because it gave us every opportunity to have a look around, walk around.
Right.
I mean, the natural turf looked like carpet. Janet got a huge kick out of because she hadn't seen before, but the manual scoreboards, the smell of the park, the crack of the bat, all of it. And you could see the younger Blue Jays even just looking around in between pitches and really soaking it in. And that's the type of effort that stadium demands, right?
It's so cool.
It's incredible.
If you ever get a chance to go to Chicago for a game, go
Do
there.
it.
Like
Regularly,
it is such a great atmosphere. They got the fire hall there out in left field.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. There's Murphy's and Harry Carey's, and we went to the barbecue spot right across the road after the game, and it was packed.
Yeah.
And Cubs fans and Jays fans, and you know what? Every single person got along.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
might not
what a great
happen at
experience.
Comiskey, but
No, there's no barbecue across from the old Comiskey. What is it
No.
now?
I
something
forget.
Guaranteed rate.
Guaranteed
Yeah.
rate
Guaranteed
stadium.
rate
Whoever
stadium or
took on
something,
that debt. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just not the same.
No.
The old stadiums,
Exactly.
they had to go, but it is what it is. Hey, and since we're actually live, Atlanta's up 1-0.
All right. You
Bottom
can
of
keep us
three.
posted.
Yes. Yeah.
So, lots of baseball to come up in the upcoming weeks, and I feel a lot of the right teams are in to command the attention that it requires. And another great time of year is we are on the brink of the opening night of the NHL.
Right.
We are.
Is it
It's
a week
getting
tonight?
closer. It is.
A week tonight,
Yep.
and lots of things going on. Lots of teams feeling eager to get the season going. Players, all sorts of stuff. So I'll kind of leave it up to you guys where you want to lead into with the NHL preseason preview.
Well, I think we got to start it off with us being Leaf and Habs fans, starting off with Saturday night in Montreal. Like that was, my heart goes out to you, Burrs, because that was just an ugly hit. Obviously, is it Pear?
Pear,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Well,
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's right.
It's preseason hockey, so you got guys that are never going to make the NHL club out there playing games because you have to fill bodies on the ice. There's a reason why in the NFL now the stars don't play in the preseason,
Right.
and this is exactly why. It wasn't malicious.
It
was
wasn't
the fact he
malicious, but
couldn't
it was,
keep up
it was
to the
dangerous.
speed.
Like
Yeah.
there was
That's
no
what it
need
was,
for it.
Les.
He
Yeah.
stood up. Like Laine's coming in. You've
Yeah.
got a Ferrari coming right at you, and he knows that he's not going to poke check him. So maybe I'll just stand up, lead with my my hands up to his upper body, and I'll stick my left leg out. Like it was a ridiculous.
But Les
play.
just absolutely nailed it. He knew he was beat and didn't want to look bad,
Yeah.
so he made the wrong decision. Unfortunately, it's probably cost Laine his season. There was no report out of Montreal today for the classification of the injury, but I had so much hope and so much. I was just encouraging the guy to find his step again. And you mentioned in a previous podcast about St. Louis taking him aside, and they had probably about a 1:00 press conference this afternoon, and you could see it in St. Louis' eyes. Like, I don't want to say he was almost in tears,
Right.
but he was defeated,
Sure.
understanding that he's probably out for the season. And it's just too bad. It's a part of the game. There's not a whole lot more I have to comment about it. It was just unfortunate. I appreciate Les's comment too about he knew he was beat, so he
Right.
didn't want to look like he got burned.
Yep.
And made a really bad decision and
Yeah.
compromised the health.
Well, I
of
thought it was
Laine.
interesting because right after that happened, and you got the star player. Like, could you imagine if that was Matthews? If the role was reversed, right? Like, it's just very unfortunate. But I found it kind of interesting that when I forget how you say the guy's name, the tough Jack guy, when he went after Pear
Yeah.
afterwards. The Leafs just kind of stood around. There wasn't one guy that quickly ran in to defend
I think
him.
that was the interesting part because, obviously, Reeves has that role with the team.
Mhm.
He hasn't seen a whole lot of the preseason, but, he'll be there opening night, I'm sure. But, it's one of those things where Pear was in a really bad position with Jack-Eye, and, Jack-Eye performed a borderline move and paid a fine for it.
Yep.
Yeah, the $3,385.42.
He won that in the poker game Saturday night.
Yeah,
so it was
exactly.
good.
That was the entry into
It's-
their poker
yeah.
game.
It's just good things didn't happen worse than it could have happened.
Fair.
Because
But, what you didn't want.
It evokes memories of what's happened before when
Bertuzzi.
Yes, yeah, and it's a good thing. I was poking
Absolutely.
Jeff Saturday morning. I was
Right.
trying to poke the bear a bit. And he didn't bite.
I was more feeling the loss of Line and the crushed hopes that he had for the season, and the team and the fans and the coaches and, you know, Kent Hughes and Scott Gordon. You know, this was really an opportunity for him to make a comeback, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
You know, everybody's sitting there going, "Oh, can't wait for opening night now." Well, Pear's not going to be in the lineup.
No,
he is not going to be.
He's going to have all sorts of time to think about that and hit, because he'll be riding the bus to Peoria, right?
Yeah, the Iron Lung, right?
Yeah. So he, just for people who don't know, he was 137th pick of the Boston Bruins in 2017. He's been around in the ECHL and AHL. He's been a regular player down there, so you know he plays some good hockey.
I think he's slated to go to Cincinnati. So
is he?
Yeah.
So there you go.
So
you know, he's a big enough guy. He was 6'3", 205. So you know, it wasn't like Jack Guy was going after you know, some young inexperienced guy. He's seen some things, and I think with Pear, he would really have to be delusional if he thought that there would be no repercussions on knocking out, you know, one of the top four forwards. Did Jack Guy go about it the right way? Probably not. The league says so. So I just think that I'm just pissed off. It's so deflating for that camp, right?
It's awful, and you know, it's one thing, like you look at the star wide receiver for Kansas City Chiefs, Rashee Rice. That was just a freak accident. He was chasing down a guy with the ball and ended up running into his own player. This one, though, was just through foolishness, and unfortunately, it is what it is. Hopefully he's able to come back later this year, or for sure next year, fully healthy. But
well, Jeff O'Neill said it really well on the panel. He said, you know, when you have a lot of momentum, and I'm a realist, I don't think the Habs are going to be competing for any type of playoff spot this year. But what they did have was a lot of momentum. You had 4 30-plus goal scorer opportunities with 4 players on the team, Line A being one of them. You have the excitement of him getting a fresh start with all the nightmares that he's had in his life and career. And Jeff O'Neill said, when you lose a huge part of that puzzle, it could really take its toll on the team.
For sure.
With that occurring. So it is what it is. But it's just unfortunate. And, you know, it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other things going on in the NHL too, eh?
Yeah, well, speaking of injuries, you might as well get the other one out of the way with Drew Doughty. That was a huge loss for LA.
Yeah.
And
they were saying his career might be over.
It could be.
They're reporting month to month, but I don't see it. I saw the replay, and it's not supposed to move like that. Yeah. That's not how it's supposed to move.
No, it's not. And it was his own fault. Like, he was chasing down, I think it was Toffoli, if I'm not mistaken. And I was looking over some stats, and I read that there was more than 700 players in the NHL last year, and only one of them spent more time on the ice than 34-year-old Drew Doughty. Like, that's how many minutes he logged for Blake and the Kings. They said that Doughty played more night after night than Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, Charlie McAvoy, Victor Hedman, Roman Josi, or Miro Heiskanen. Like,
all the horses.
Yeah, that's insane. That a 34-year-old's able to, you know, do that.
It's like it's guys like that, and you know, it's guys like Chris Pronger or Rob Blake, or those guys that aren't necessarily, you don't see them every night, but they're so serviceable, and they and I'm not saying you don't see Doughty or Pronger or Blake, but what I'm saying is they have that ebbs and flow game where they take care of business. And all the fundamentals of an NHL defenseman, and you don't necessarily see them every night because they are consistent.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets well.
I'm going to take one opportunity here to make the sunshine a little more on this podcast, Razor, since you brought us down. Happy birthday to Big T, Teddy Petrie, 4 years old today.
Wow.
Maverick
Happy
Petrie's
birthday,
boy.
Teddy.
Yeah, we wanted to give him a shout out. This kid is just a rock star. He's always out. He's always busy. big smiles. He comes in the shop with Maverick and, just this little guy. And he's got a whole lot of love around him with his family. And
That's awesome.
we just wanted to reach out and say happy birthday, big guy. We'll probably see you this Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, down at the Almond.
Absolutely.
And some more going on. The Utah Hockey Club announces all their 11,000 unobstructed seats have been sold for the entire year.
Yeah, that's
we're not gonna get into the 3,000 or more obstructed seats, but
well, they're hungry there, which is good to see.
Yeah. It just shows you how bad Bettman was for keeping Arizona in Arizona.
Wow, it's all for TV, and let's face it. And I know we talked about it there on a previous podcast that those warm areas, if you have a winner, they'll come. Like when Arizona made the playoffs and they were doing the whiteout like they used to in Winnipeg, they were selling out. But you have to win. Like if Tampa and Florida, like before Florida started winning, the past couple of years, you couldn't give away tickets.
Florida
there.
still has 5,000 on a Tuesday night after winning the
exactly.
Cup. Like they're still not. Now Tampa Bay's a different story,
right?
But the Florida Panthers, you go there in January and they're playing Arizona on a Tuesday night. There might be 5,000.
Right.
It also has to do where it is.
Yeah. Sunrise Center.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's miles away from Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-6 hour drive from Tampa. Like it's just not a convenient place to
Right.
go.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we didn't mention last week, but Ottawa was awarded their new stadium.
Yes.
On the flats in downtown Ottawa.
The LeBreton Flats, which is great because that's a perfect area right across from the War Museum, right by all the hotels. You don't have to drive 40 minutes to a parking lot.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, basically, I went there for a game shortly after they came into the league, and you were basically driving into no man's land.
Now, when you say you went to that game, you went to the Canadian Tire Center, or did you go where the 67s were playing where they first started?
The Canadian Tire Center.
Yeah, the first.
And so, like, it was literally like driving down the 401, and there's nothing on either side, and then plunk, let's put a rink out here.
We were there in the first couple of years too. We went to see Washington when Ovechkin had just come into the league.
Mm-hmm.
So we went, and it was nothing. There was nothing there. It was a gas station and maybe a fast food restaurant. It's a little more built up now.
Now there's a outlet mall. There's a Home Depot. There's residential and stuff like that. But I found it too with Janet's son. We were up there visiting him in Ottawa when he lived there. And we're driving out to this outlet mall that he wanted to visit. And we're driving. I didn't know exactly where it was. And all of a sudden there it is. And I'm like, okay, now I know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But he's an individual who doesn't drive. So he has to plan out 2.5 hours before a concert. He doesn't go to hockey, but if there's a lot of concert events out there. And he says you're 2.5 hours out just to make it out there in time.
Wow.
So great news for the city of Ottawa.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm looking.
It's not going to be anytime soon. It could be 5-6 years.
Sure,
but it's a step
there.
ahead.
Yep.
It's what needed to be done for that franchise.
I'm looking to see what good things Travis Green can do in Ottawa this year. I think he got a bum deal in Vancouver, in my opinion, but. Ottawa's made some moves again, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, they're trending in the right direction.
They're in the top 20 in the power rankings, so it should be good.
So,
go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, so let's go with some personal opinions to create some conversation, if you will.
Absolutely.
And these are loaded questions, so don't be overwhelmed. But first of all, I'd just like to give my biggest prediction for this season coming up, and that will be that Corey Perry has no issues with HR in Edmonton. That's my biggest prediction. Let's talk a little bit about maybe the biggest movers or perceived movers. And I know Les and I absolutely got thrashed last year with our predictions, but the Atlantic will be the pool of death, if you will.
Yes, it will.
Oh yeah.
There's lots of moving parts, and if you guys just wanted to share some of your thoughts, they could be whatever they are. For
the New
Atlantic.
Jersey Devils are for real.
Yeah.
Now that they have goaltending, if they can keep everybody healthy, which was a problem last year. Hamilton was hurt. Hughes was hurt.
Is Hughes Logan Hughes? He's
Luke,
out for
Luke Hughes. Is out for a bit. He's out for a bit.
He's out for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
I think,
4 weeks. But
and then they get a healthy Dougie Hamilton back too.
well, that's the thing.
That'll make a big
Dougie Hamilton,
difference.
a healthy Dougie Hamilton
Yes.
back, right? And Jack Hughes, if he can stay healthy, is a premier player in this league.
I have no reason to be critical of that player, but I'm sure they've had to have a conversation with him about maybe changing his game a little bit because he's had a lot of pretty heavy injuries in his young career. And if you don't pivot or you don't make some changes, he's a smaller player, great player, elite player in the league, in my opinion. But I just hope he changes a little bit of his formula because this league needs him around for a long time, especially the New Jersey Devils.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you say
they're number
goalie,
6. They're
who did
number
they
6
get
in the
again?
power. Markstrom.
Oh, gosh, just Markstrom.
Yeah.
But it's a goalie. They
I
never-
know.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Yeah.
Joking around.
Yeah, barring
Yeah.
generally, I think Fitzgerald did pretty well with New Jersey, bringing in Markstrom because that's what they were missing last year was goaltending, steady goaltending. Markstrom's, he'll win you games. He's just, and he's got the defense in front of him. Like, Calgary's just a gong show again this year. So,
Like they got spoiled for all those years with Brodeur, right? Like Mr. Steady, and you had that in a lot of different teams. Like it all starts with goaltending. Let's face it.
It really does.
Look at any team that goes deep into the playoffs. They're riding a hot tender. And when Brodeur retired, it was just a revolving door.
Well, who'd they have there for a while and he got hurt? Was it Mackenzie Blackwood?
Yeah.
He was an up-and-comer, and did he have a hand injury or something that completely ruined his career?
Sounds about right.
career,
Unfortunately, but I remember watching him in Madison Square Garden one Sunday at the 12:30 game. I love those showcase games on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like the sure bet, and then no kidding, you have the off season, and I forget exactly what happened, but unfortunate. But Markstrom will he'll provide some solid opportunities there.
Another team, the New York Rangers.
Yeah,
is this their last chance?
Wow,
because you got
they
guys are going to get pay raises next year. Lafreniere, Miller, Lindgren. Shesterkin. Well,
and they still don't have Trouba figured out yet.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty
Thank
hard.
God TU's not here.
Hopefully he's got.
Hopefully
I
he's
heard
listening.
him ask you to screw your head on straight.
Well, he wasn't paying his internet bill that month. So
TU.
Rumor has it that he's come back, but no. All joking aside, how do you go to your captain, your leader in the dressing room, and you ask him for his teams because we're actively shipping you? Like that's just not a good lead from management to your leader in the dressing room. So everyone's looking, going, okay, if they can do it to him, who's next on the team, right?
Exactly.
But
so a question for you guys, and Les and I talked about this last year. We're expecting a turn for Detroit, Buffalo, and Ottawa. What are your thoughts from what you've seen?
Buffalo, no.
Buffalo, no.
No, I don't think they did enough in the
Lindy
offseason.
Ruff isn't bringing any magic.
I don't think they did enough in the offseason player-wise. Ottawa, yes. Just steady goaltending.
Yeah.
Again, right?
Yeah. I just like their nucleus, too. Like, it's very strong. Now, did they get rid of Shesterkin?
Chicken?
Yeah, you know what I mean, the defenseman.
I think so.
Something tells me that they did.
I
can't remember. Anyways, so that'll be a little bit of a compromise, but you're going to get strong leadership from Brady Tkachuk. You're going to get strong leadership from Claude Giroux. He loves playing in his hometown, and they've got these pieces that consistently improve. So I would expect to see them make a turn. Now, if history serves us correctly, it won't happen.
Yeah.
But Ottawa, I have on the move. I agree with you with Buffalo.
I don't think they did enough. They didn't do anything
I
to.
agree.
Well, and don't
improve.
look now, but Jeff Skinner's in Edmonton on McDavid's line.
Yeah.
So he's in for 30 or 40 goals this year, and they got him for next to nothing. Like that guy, fun fact, he has never played a playoff game in 1,000 games in the NHL.
That's insane. That's insane.
I remember Holly last week about trying to lose 120 games in a season. This is the same comparison. 1,000 games for
Yeah.
Skinner. He's played for the Carolinas. He's played
When
for
they were
Buffalo.
bad. Yes. Yeah.
Hasn't played a playoff game.
That's
It's unbelievable.
that is crazy.
Welcome to Edmonton. You're
Right?
about to get your fill. And I'm sure he's going to come in with piss and vinegar because,
Oh yeah.
he's been underachieving now for the last couple of years.
Yep.
So I'm hoping the best for
Yeah.
Skinner. But to get back to the Atlantic.
Is Detroit good enough? Did they do enough? They locked up Raymond. They locked up Sider.
I'm going to have to get back to you on that because I was confident, and it appears it was overconfident with them last year. We were talking before the podcast tonight. You're indicating that Lalonde might be on the hot seat if they don't make some progress this year. So
Yeah, they were. I was looking at the hot seat, and he was right there.
I think he's a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, and he knows the guys too from coaching them in the minors,
Yeah.
and so he's come up and
He was assistant coach in Tampa Bay.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's where Eiserman
So
brought him.
he was Cooper's right hand man.
Ah,
and when
okay,
Eiserman
okay.
came up, that's okay. There's like
Well,
razor.
it's
there's
a
tons of
revolving
moving
doors. Yeah.
But,
Patrick Kane's gonna get a full
You've
season
got
out of him.
DeBrincat, you've got Larkin, you've got is Helm
Yeah.
Derek Helm.
Helm is it anyways, I don't want to waste too much time, but there's pivotal players
Yeah.
on that
Raymond.
team. I
And
think.
you're going to get a whole
Sider.
year of Patrick Kane. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's going to help.
That's huge.
Have you seen those montages where they show people trying to come up on Sider
Yeah.
in his own zone and they bounce off him like
Yeah.
it's free? It's unbelievable. that guy is a rock.
My only concern with Detroit is the goaltending of Cam Talbot and Alex Leon.
Yeah.
I don't know if
The
those two
tandem.
guys are able to take them to the playoffs. But hey,
I-
if you get a hot guy like Talbot's been around for a long time, so if they can get some solid goaltending at the right time. Who knows?
Well-
But I love what Stevie Y does. Like, he's the guy that started Tampa,
Bay, yeah.
drafted properly, didn't get saddled down with crazy contracts. Yeah, you had Stammer and Hedman, but those were no-brainers. They're not like the Leafs where they give the retirement contracts to guys
Right.
and stuff. So I like what he's doing in Detroit.
Well, they're getting a little impatient, and for the Red Wing fans listening, you know what I'm talking about because the brass of the Red Wings fans are getting a little impatient with the Yzer plan. I think he's playing it to a T. I think he's taking his time. He's collected. He's calculated, and it's probably not exactly where they want to be, but they're going in the right direction. And I'm telling you, I think you're nailing it with the whole goaltending situation. I think that's going to be unfortunately a deal breaker. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. But this is why Lalonde's job's on the line because Eiserman's not going anywhere.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
Like, I wonder, and I'm just throwing it out there, I wonder if Ken Holland will come back there. Like, because he's the one that guided Stevie Y when Stevie first started.
But I think what
Holland's done.
what
I think
I-
he wanted
Well,
that.
like, I mean, like, as an advisor or
What
something,
oh,
right?
quite possibly.
That's what I'm not saying to take over the GM job. I
Because-
just mean like as an advisor,
Sure.
like the way Scotty Bowman, right? When he rode
Sure.
out into the sunset with Chicago, he was just a special advisor
Yeah.
with his son. But
I think there was a whole underlying story about Ken Holland and Edmonton too that wasn't necessarily front page news, but a few rumblings of between the owner of the Edmonton Oilers, who could be a little bit erratic, and Ken
little.
Holland's humble ways.
Right.
It may not have been the best match, but Holland made it work. You saw a few little errors that Holland made. Like, I would never have signed Nurse for that, but that's why I'm a barber and not a GM for the.
you know what? When
Edmonton
Nurse
Oilers.
first came in, I think he was exactly what they needed. A guy, big, strong winger that had
He's a
good
defenseman,
hands.
but yeah.
Nurse?
Darnell Nurse, yeah. He's a defenseman.
What am I gotta start looking up my notes. You know who I was thinking of is the left winger,
Evander Kane.
Kane.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
Yeah.
apologies.
Yeah.
And but I was thinking of like when they brought in Kane, he was exactly what they
Yeah.
needed. Like when they went out and traded
I've
for
always
him.
been a fan of him, and for some reason he just can't put it together. He's either injured or things that set him back. the Oilers, if they had him healthy, would be so much better of a team.
Well, and if he could keep his head on straight too,
That's what I mean, yeah.
he just seems to outwarm his welcome, right?
Yeah.
He's the model citizen for the first couple of years in the dressing room, and then all of a sudden he goes back to his own ways. But yeah, hopefully they'll get it figured out.
All right.
And the number one coach on the hot seat, Mike Sullivan in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's the classic example of a coach with a shelf life.
Yeah.
I think Mike Sullivan's a great coach, and he would probably get a job next week. I could be wrong, but he's well respected by Sid, and that carries a lot of merit in that dressing room. Change is good sometimes.
Yeah. I'm going to say with Pittsburgh, I think Crosby puts in the points again this year.
Yeah.
And Malkin.
Yeah.
He had a hat trick last night.
As long as
So,
Malkin
you know.
can stay healthy to take some heat off of Sid,
Yeah.
and then you got two lines.
So let's go with Sid here, over under 80.
Over.
Over.
I'll give him about 92 where he was last year.
Is that right, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get quite that many, but that was a terrible team
Well,
last year, right?
There's not a lot of other guys that are going to score on that team.
Yeah.
So
No.
And he has that authority with, when I say authority, I truly mean that with Sullivan, where it's kind of like McDavid in Edmonton with Knobloch. Like when he jumps over the boards, he goes.
Yeah.
He doesn't go,
It's-
coach, is this okay?
Yeah, exactly.
it's not Sid's hands that are going bad.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
No,
No, but he still keeps himself in good
And
shape.
you
Obviously,
wait.
he doesn't have the wheels what he used to have.
But I am so excited to see him with the guns on the Four Nations.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is going to light it up, and he just is.
Yeah.
You guys
He
aren't
just
going to
is.
believe what I was just reading. It just came out like 20 minutes ago. The IIHF is preparing to propose 3-on-3 hockey for the 2030
in overtime.
Olympics.
In overtime.
Yeah, but still, to even
Yeah.
propose that
Awesome.
is just
Yeah, bring it on.
Love
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why
Free-
wouldn't?
You get 6 of the best players in the world on the ice at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's
Right.
see.
Who
Let's
doesn't
like
want it?
just even off the top of my head, obviously not prepared. McKinnon, McDavid,
Carl
it won't be-
McCarr.
It won't be Crosby. Cale Makar, Mitchie Marner. Who else?
Oh, you could just keep going
yeah.
on. you
I
know.
mean, it's sickening.
Well, it just nobody likes to see the shootouts. It's like let's settle the Super Bowl by kicking field goals. Like
Yeah.
you just
Or
would never
the
do
World
that.
Cup with penalty kicks.
Right.
That's the biggest.
It's just
Yeah,
terrible.
I don't want to see another gold medal handed out because of a shootout.
You
Yeah,
take a team
100%.
sport and you make it an individual.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so kudos to the IIHF for doing that.
And 3-on-3 probably gets it over quicker than
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything, especially with the talent that you could put on the ice.
for sure. So, what are you guys thinking for teams like, let's say, Tampa Bay, Boston? Who
Boston's going to be there again.
well,
if they get Swayman signed now.
they've got a disgruntled goalie, and you've got
they've
Cam
got a
Neely
disgruntled president.
Yeah.
that's come out and said there's 64 million reasons why he should be, in
Yeah.
the dressing room.
Yeah, and
so,
Swayman's saying that's not enough. That puts him 8th in goaltenders all time. Or
It's-
6th, sorry, 6th.
But what does Swayman won? Like, no disrespect.
8 million. He wants over 8.
He wants 8 to 9 million.
8 to 9
They're
million.
gonna give him
They're only
over
offering him
6.
8. They're offering 64 over 8. So,
Yeah.
it's
So 8 a year. A guy can't live off of that, but it's a start.
Well, they
There was
can
a-
make a goal of it.
there was a good point. I was listening to the Fan in the morning like I usually do. And they made a good point. Stellick said he doesn't like the way teams play these goalies for 8 years. He said, really, do you think the goalie's going to be there in 8 years?
Well,
Yeah.
that happens with players too, though. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not just bringing this up, but you look at the Tanev contract. It's the same thing. It's about you. You're probably going to get 3 years
Yep.
out of that 8
Right,
years. That's
right.
all it is with
Yeah.
a goalie, right?
yeah.
There's been several examples over the years, and I say Tanev. There's lots of different examples.
Well,
over
look
the
at
league, right?
Minnesota. They're
Yeah.
still eating. Like, Bill Guerin
Oh.
can't get anyone because they're still eating Suter
and
like both those contracts. Like, they've still got a couple
I'm
of
not,
years
I'm
left.
not gonna poke the fire here, but Montreal did it with Carey Price. Too much
100%.
money over too many years, right? And are they done paying that, or they still have a year left on that one?
one more year.
One more.
Yeah.
One more year, and but that was the focus,
Yeah.
right? You get
Yep.
3-4 years out of it. Unfortunately, he
Right.
fell into addiction and mental wellness issues and stuff like that, which you can't control. But he's been out since their Stanley Cup run in 21, so he would have genuinely played. We're at 2024, so he could have had 2 to 3 more seasons that would have completely justified the contract. Things happen.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it does happen, and
it does.
and that's exactly the point I was making too with a guy like Carey Price. Unfortunately, who's that forward? Suter and
Somebody type it in the chat.
Shanker, come on, you got to know who that forward is. I know
I
who
can
you're
see
talking
him.
about. Yeah.
Left winger, small.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Montreal, I already kind of expressed what I felt about them, so I don't know. We'll have to see.
I just don't think they're. I don't think Sam Montembeau's number one. They got the same problem. They got the same problem Toronto does. You don't have a legitimate number one goalie.
We have Cam Fowler grooming for 2026, so he's still 2 years away. He's a phenom.
Preezy.
Thank you.
Preezy.
Preezy.
Yeah.
Did someone put that?
Nope,
in there?
nobody put it in. It just came.
Oh, Les Vader.
Just pulled it out of the back of my brain.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So Fowler's going to be ready in 2026. If all goes well, he's on track for that. I was also really impressed with the performance of the Czechia goalie that we have, who's 23, who plays with Laval. He played the game before Saturday night, and he played against you guys.
Yep.
And I thought he played extremely well. He's a big goalie, 6'6", 230. And can you imagine that, Razor? 6'6", 230, and you're a goalie.
He's no Mike Vernon. I know that much.
Or Darren Pang.
Or Mike Palmetier.
But I was impressed with him. And you know what? I think Primo's expendable just due to the fact of the goalie shortage in the league.
Right.
So I was really encouraged by his play. I know it's just one game, but he just really seemed to – he stopped like 3 or 4 2-on-1s.
Yeah.
Lights out. So it was just good to see. But Montembeau, I couldn't agree more. I think he's simply a filler till they get their stuff together.
Yeah. Agreed.
In Toronto, you need health in goaltending, health on the defense.
Yeah.
Health all around. Yeah. I think they've improved the defense. They're not young, but they're I think more experience back there is going to help.
Well, and I think what you're getting at is, and I'm just saying, you'd rather have Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Tanev over Giordano and Brody.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's an upgrade.
Yeah.
How do you think Berube's feeling so far?
The first game, I thought he had the look on his face like, what the hell have I got myself into? But the other night, he looked a lot more. Yeah. And they didn't have any of the big guys in the lineup either because I don't think Matthews doesn't play another game in the preseason.
I'm just asking. Did I read something about Matthews having an upper body? Or was that just...
Yeah, but he was back at practice yesterday. Oh, okay. So, okay. It was... Matthews said it's a shock to your system when you come back. You work out all
drinking beer all summer.
Yeah, you work out all summer. You work out all summer and then you get back into it.
Esposito all summer.
He said it's a shock to your. It's really a shock to your system, right?
Yeah,
especially the caliber of player that he is. Yeah, I mean it's
I just hope they can keep the Marner talk to a minimum because you don't need any more distractions than there already is in Toronto.
And that's what's going to be huge is if Marner gets off to a slow start and Toronto's not winning. Like if Toronto's winning, then it'll be talked about, but it won't be as important, right? Because the team's winning. But if the team's losing and he's not producing, then you're going to hear like all the boo birds, and it's going to be tough for him. I hope that doesn't happen. Because let's face it, he's a human. He's a good player. Yes, he's making a lot of money. But at the end of the day, he's a human. Unfortunately, though, guys like us can't afford to take a family to a Leaf game anymore. The Jays are becoming that way too, right? Yeah. And so the days of a working man taking his family to a sporting event, it's over.
The Jays, did I hear this correctly? They averaged 34,000 fans this year.
I think it was a little bit lower. That they're down.
It was
from
better
last
than
year.
half of the teams that are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
now
we didn't make a game this year.
Enter stage left, Baltimore, right? that team is unbelievable. I know they've had their ups and flows of the season, but do you think that they could put 25,000 in that stadium in July? Absolutely not.
Right.
I've talked to Cheryl and John Fountain.
Yep.
They've been there. They absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And, story for another time, but John Fountain pulls a quick cash deal at the concessions. We can talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
But,
So
we'll wait for him to come on.
There's one of those tangents we go off on. Had
Squirrel.
a few comments. Chris Chessel, Boston will be fine. Swayman needs to fire his agent. And Shanker, can Markstrom carry the load? I don't think he has a
We're
choice.
gonna see.
Great question.
We're gonna see.
And I love the terminology that I learned from Tim Taylor being on here, because he doesn't refer to them as bottom six. He refers to them as mid-tier. I just love that term. How about, do you think Nick Robertson wants to make this team? The kid's on fire.
He is.
Yes.
Like, he is.
I like the way he's playing. He's on fire.
He's playing with a chip.
He's got a chip on him, which he should have.
Yeah.
Honestly, he should have, because Sheldon Keefe didn't give him time or day.
Yeah.
And I think Berube's going to give him a chance,
Right.
which he deserves. Another good thing I like Toronto is the PTO to Pacioretty.
Right.
This is the first time Pacioretty's really been healthy in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So are you really expending anything by giving him the PTO and then signing him? He's going to be, if they sign him, he's in your top 6 forwards.
To give you an idea about his injury woes, he has played 267 games in the matter of 400 and I believe it's 487. So he's been out half the time.
Yeah.
I don't think the gamble with Pacioretty is talent or compassion for playing. I just simply think it's health.
Yep.
2 years ago, he was in Carolina and played 5 games with the problems that he had. So I'm not a huge fan of Pacioretty, but he was our captain, and you always hope well. It'll be interesting to see. You're darn right. It'll be top 6. It won't even be a question, and he could even be on your special teams.
No, I think he's going to be on your power play, and I like the thing of it. Like, he even says he hasn't felt this good in 3 years. So
yeah,
like,
people forget. Now, I know it's a while back, like when he was in Montreal, but he had 6 seasons where he had scored 30 or more, 32, 35. 30, 37, 39, and 33. Like, the guy knows how to find the back
The
of
only
the
reason
net.
why I know all those numbers that you pointed out, Razor, is because I was told for years when he was our captain that he was garbage.
Really?
From people like Toronto Maple Leaf fans. I know exactly what you're talking about. He's an asset to the team. He wasn't a captain out of a,
Well, and I think I don't know much about this Steven Lorentz that they're talking, who's going to be also in the opening night lineup. But
Where'd he come from?
I don't know. I'm just reading about him and Patches that are going to make the opening night lineup, barring injuries.
Interesting. I remember seeing him, and they're on the fence about him, but I guess we'll see.
But
I could just hear Chess though saying, "Boston's going to be fine. Just shut up."
Steven Lorenz won a Stanley Cup last year in Florida.
Oh, with Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
mid-tier player.
Yeah.
Right.
Mid-tier player. NHL power early preseason power rankings. I'll give you the top 5.
Okay.
And you guys give me your thoughts. Number 1, Edmonton. 2, the Florida Panthers. 3, the Dallas Stars. 4, the New York Rangers. Number 5, the Colorado Avalanche.
You know what I love? Pete DeBoer, Steve Spott, Dallas Stars. Nobody talks about them.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody.
No.
Logan Stankoven.
Yeah.
Everybody, he's in our Young Guns box.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a solid hint right there.
And there's a shameless plug. If you haven't signed up, we are in the final week of preparation for our Domino's Pizza hockey pool. Get a hold of Les Razor. We will send you the link. You can send us all the money that's required. And I think we've got up to 21 teams so far.
21 teams so far.
Yeah. So we appreciate everyone that's enrolled, and everybody's welcome.
I think we're gonna add something special for the winner at the end, but
okay,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the team meetings.
Yeah.
But power rankings. Well,
It's early, but a lot's based on last year and what their team makeup is this year. Edmonton, I can see it.
I wanted to
For sure.
Did I say this about Knobloch? It's his first training camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't do much last year.
Yeah. Florida, I'm okay with it.
Paul Maurice factor
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they know how to win now. So
Well, the thing about it is, though, you've lost Montour, who, that's a huge loss.
I see.
That's a 25 minute a night guy that is a complete package in the NHL.
I agree.
Yeah.
Honestly, I see Florida getting off to a slow start.
yeah.
You call it the cup hangover, whatever.
Well, and
you
just simply the fact, too, Racer, that they played hockey the longest.
Yep.
I could see that, too, from Edmonton. Yeah, they just got done, 12 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah,
Right?
and like you said, like they lost Montour.
They lost Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Yeah,
And the only reason why I'm saying that is because as Leaf fans, you will see the serviceability that he has.
Yes.
He's not going to be a standout. He's not going to be on your power play, but he'll give you 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and you won't see him out there because he's just doing his job.
That's
Yeah.
what they wanted
Right.
him and Tanev for, was to lock it down. And so it would take a lot of heat off of Riley, McCabe, and then those guys can worry more about a little offensive flair. I like Treliving going out and getting those guys.
There's two kids that and not to get all over the place, but there's two kids on the Leafs, and I know people watching or listening. I have to be an objective hockey fan here, and I'm not condoning any spurts to the Toronto Maple Leafs, but two guys that I will have my eye on this year on your team are Nyes and Benoit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nyes has come in 10 pounds heavier at 21 years old, and he's going to be one of the things that they're going to have to deal with because this is his last season in his rookie contract.
Yep.
You've got Benoit. It just seemed when they were playing in the playoffs last year, there was like a big hit or a play in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
It was Benoit.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
And they've got him signed up for the next 2 or 3 years at 1.75.
Yeah.
Like, what a steal.
Cap friendly.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to watch.
Yep.
But
Number 5,
Agreed.
Colorado Avalanche. The only thing, like they're saying here, is it's going to be wing depth to begin the season because you don't have Landeskog, you don't have Nikushkin, you don't have Lehkonen because they're hurt.
yeah, but you also have who's that guy from Corner Brook? Crosby and McKinnon, Nathan McKinnon.
Cole
Yeah.
Harbor.
Yeah.
Or sorry,
Cole Harbor.
what did I say?
Corner Brook.
Who's from Corner Brook?
I don't know.
Okay,
They're from Cole Harbor.
Yeah.
Cole Harbor.
Yeah.
What's the province?
Nova
Cole-
Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Corner Brooks,
Well, yeah,
Newfoundland.
just blew that clever thing. But
Well, they have
McKinnon,
iffy goaltending.
Rannon,
Yeah.
well, an iffy goaltending, like
Very
iffy,
iffy.
yeah.
suspect goaltending.
Very.
Ken Gorgiev, he's good, but he needs to be good all the time.
But you
Yeah.
need to be able to rise it up.
Especially in the West.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
The West is just this gauntlet of absolute mayhem,
Yes.
right? You could go in and do, I know it's not the same as it used to be, but, you go in, from Colorado and do the California sweep where you do LA, Anaheim, and San Jose. And yes, San Jose is the worst team in the league, but there's still that camaraderie of it's a West Coast matchup,
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Okay, before we take a break, because we're well into it here, let's go. So number 6, New Jersey Devils, which you talked about. Number 7, the Boston Bruins, which you've talked about. Number 8, Toronto Maple Leafs, which we have talked about and probably will still talk about. Number 9, Nashville Predators.
Have they made any
Who
deals?
made this power rankings?
The Score,
The Score. Okay.
The Score.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
They're based out of
Toronto,
right. Thank you.
Hamilton.
That's all I need
Toronto.
to know.
Yep.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
Jeez.
Poor guy.
Nashville.
Yeah. At number 9.
Nobody's talking about that. Well,
No.
we are, but you talk
don't
about
hear
the team
anything about
analysts.
them.
I watched a couple panels on TSN. Are you kidding me?
Stamkos, Marcia Show.
I don't know. Shea, Yossi,
Yeah.
Saros, and Net. Like,
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Ryan Ellis, who doesn't get talked about.
Yeah.
The team's for real.
It is.
And
O'Reilly. Like it's.
have you ever seen their home games? What happens with 1 minute left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. That's fantastic.
I was there for a game. Oh my
were ya?
God. Yeah.
Okay.
McDavid's first NHL NHL game, like first regular season NHL game. By far the coldest arena. They had the air conditioning on so low, like it was warm outside. It was like probably, 25, 27 degrees out there. Nice fall day. And oh my God, inside, like I was gonna buy a hoodie. That's how cold I was. Like it was brutal. But the atmosphere is super cool. Like when the visiting team gets a penalty, the whole arena knows the chant. It's all your fault.
Oh,
like
gosh.
it's
Lots
pretty
of fun.
cool. It is.
And then so just to round out top 10, Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
Goaltending, healthy.
Oh my
Demko.
God, Demko's hurt.
Yeah.
Out definitely.
So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the Smith's there, and I know you guys may roll your eyes. He did a great job.
Yep.
And who was the guy that came in after him?
Artur's
Shylov.
Sivos.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Sylov.
he
Shylov.
shut a lot down, and
Oh, yeah.
and he's coming up. He's the Fowler in that we have in Montreal that's coming up through the ranks in Vancouver. So everybody was wowed by how well he played. He's actually lights out. He's just on
yeah,
his
he
way
was
up.
good.
He happens to have to try to get a job over Demko, right?
Yeah.
So DeSmith's in there too.
Lankinen.
It's all about the
Yeah.
goaltending, and it never
Absolutely.
ends. Just quickly on the Edmonton front, Mike Hoffman was actually released by the Edmonton Oilers today as a PTO, which really surprised me because I think, yes, he was in a few different places, but
Did his wife have something to do with it?
do you want to no?
That's going back to the why he went to Florida.
Oh,
I don't.
out
I
of
just follow.
Ottawa.
I just follow the hockey list. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
do
about
not.
the
You're
other
all over
stuff.
it.
That's okay. But anyways, good start, fellas.
Yeah, good to
think
be
we'll
back
take,
talking hockey.
Take a little break, and just a reminder, there's no more 25 40-minute breaks. We're going to get into no more than 5 for you people turning in live, and we again send thanks to you for tuning in with us, and I guess we'll be back.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds good. We'll be back. Oh, good.
Oh, good. Hey, we're
made
back.
her back. Yes.
1-0 Atlanta, bottom of the 6th.
1-0 Atlanta, bottom of the 6th. Just wanted to give a shout out to our generous sponsors this evening. From the world headquarters of Reboot Repair, we share the area with them. Stratford's best computer supplier and services. Personalized IT solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, they do home visits. They are actually the only company in the area that will do that type of service for people, which is pretty flattering. They do hardware, software repairs, cell phone repairs, and they are definitely interested in business services as well.
They do site visits too. They come to the arena for me. You said home.
I said on-site. All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk after.
Yeah, okay. Gloves off.
Did everybody see the signs behind Razor? We finally got our great signs up. Thank you to Cam at Reboot Repair. Also, Lachlan Traxel gave us a hand with that. So, Lachlan, thank you so much for your efforts. We hang these proud. So go ahead.
Yeah, we're very appreciative of all of our sponsors. And speaking of sponsors, SBS Metals, metal fabrication with professional craftsmanship. Stratford's preferred custom, commercial, and residential metal fabricator.
Absolutely. Dennis and Kathy do a great job there along with their team. They're always super, super busy, which is always great to see.
I see Soupy at the plant a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys like Monte Cristos?
No. But I like the number 4, Perth County's.
Do you like liver and onions?
No.
Okay.
I like the number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. You, Razor?
No.
Monte Cristos?
Now, are you talking cigars or are you talking
Drink?
I am talking the splendid menu option at Joe's Diner, Stratford, and St. Mary's. 2 locations. The Myers family owns Joe's Diner, official breakfast, lunch, and dinner diner of the Armchair Chirpers, home of the famous, what Les is talking about, Perth County, number 4, 2 eggs over easy, bacon, white toast, please.
And we'll do one more. Domino's Pizza, official pizza of the Armchair Chirpers. Get a free large 3-item pizza when you go on to our YouTube page and subscribe. Take a screenshot and come to, it used to be the Urban Barber, but now bring your screenshot to Reboot Repair. The guys have the pizza coupons here. And also tickets, courtesy of the Armchair Chirpers and the Fightin' Irish for Saturday's home opener.
I am so looking forward to this.
It's going to be fun.
We're going to get into it, but some fun will be had.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Pie's going to fit into the 32s that he wanted to, and
the Edwin 32s.
maybe pinstripes. We'll have to see. Awesome. I was listening to that today, and I was just howling driving. I'm going to slip into a pair of 32s. But just really, really quickly before I forget, with the function and the dance that the Irish hosted on the weekend with Upside and Maybe, JJ and M. Griner, was so excited to read that they raised $5,000 for the House of Blessing. So kudos to everyone involved, to everybody that supported. And, this is just an example of some of the things that the hockey club does and being involved with the community and how they are supported. So $5,000 is a lot of money, and they'll appreciate that down on Erie Street.
Absolutely.
All right.
So.
Yeah.
A little bit of Western Conference, eh? Marc-Andre Fleury. This will be his last year.
In Minnesota?
In the NHL.
But he's in Minnesota.
In Minnesota,
Yeah.
He does not want any special treatment from opposing teams.
Right. He's too
I think
well
he deserves
loved.
whatever he gets.
Absolutely.
I wonder if he had to say anything about that. I don't want any special treatment.
You know
Just
what? He's such a likable guy. Like, he's the guy
He's a
always
character.
doing pranks, and I think he's so well respected in the league.
Have you ever seen that one where he takes Crosby's stuff at the All-Star game and tapes it all up and then hangs it? Oh,
yeah, I've seen some of them where they take like the styrofoam and like fill up a car just full of that stuff. Like, that would just get everywhere.
Horrible.
Yeah,
that's a
terrible.
horrible. That's a pig's trick, is
right?
what that is.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Marc-Andre Fleury, you know what? We've been around a while because I remember watching him with the juniors and that devastating end to the game where he missed the shot. But you know what? He's had a great career, needless to say. And,
So Billy Guerin, GM of the Minnesota Wild. I've been asked this question 20 times already. We don't want frickin' video replays and video tributes and things like that. Just let's play games. Of course, if they do it in Pittsburgh, Vegas, and Montreal, we understand.
Yeah.
$14.74 million in dead cap money with Parise and Suter. Like,
There you go.
talk about a handcuff.
Shanker chimed in with Parisi.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Go Tigers. I'm officially on the Tiger bandwagon, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That just is where I need to be.
They're obviously the feel-good story of the playoffs.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It was like the Jays in 15. They were 50-50 July 1st,
Yes.
and then they ended up making the playoffs.
Oh, my
But,
God. Like, Tulo and David Price.
Russell.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was so good.
What a time.
Oh.
You know?
And that was all Anthopoulos.
Donaldson's MVP season.
Yeah.
Bautista.
Oh, my
Encarnacion. Like,
so good.
It was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah.
And so much fun.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Batista's back. He's made amends with Toronto. Like,
Has he?
Well,
he was.
They retired
last
his
year?
number.
Yeah.
Last year.
Level of excellence is
Yes.
what they do.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was great. Like, he was very emotional,
Yeah.
and you could tell it was from the heart. And you see him now on the Mary Browns commercials, doing the what do you
Ridiculous
call it?
commercials.
Well, yeah, they're ridiculous, but I forget the name of the product that Mary Brown's
Taters
has with
or
him.
something?
Oh, taters.
Something like that.
Yeah, the home run taters.
The
We had
home
Mary
run
Browns
box
on the
or
weekend
something like that.
when we were in Waterloo with the kids.
Just
oh my
always
God.
feels like a gift.
I've never had.
I
So
can't
there's
wait
one
till
coming
Tier.
to
I know.
Stratford.
Yeah, I can't wait till Tier because
Yeah,
that
out at the
Razor?
mall. Out
Yeah.
at the mall. Yeah.
It is-
The island, where EB Games used to
yeah,
be.
the old Robin Donuts.
Yes.
But it was great. Oh, I love Mary Brown's.
Yeah.
You know, what
I got a
would be really
3-piece and
good
one piece of white meat, and there was no bone in it whatsoever.
Oh my god.
I was down in Michigan on Saturday, and I was hungry, and I knew it was like a 3-hour drive home, and so I didn't want to get a burger, and so I see a Chick-fil-A, and I love those, and I drove into the mall parking lot, and there's a Myers and stuff. Speaking of being down in Detroit, and oh my God, like there had to have been 30 cars in the drive-through for
cult.
Chick-fil-A. It's
a cult.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Have you ever cried from eating such good food?
Such good fast food.
Yeah. Try
I
Jersey
have not.
Mike's. It will change
Really?
your life. Jersey Mike's. Have you tried it, Les?
Yeah. There's
Hey.
one
How
on-
good is it?
It's good.
I haven't had one yet, but people keep talking about these Firehouse subs, and I
Yeah.
don't know if you
No,
guys.
it's Jersey Mike's.
Okay, so just a full disclaimer,
Sure.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that their promotional stuff is fantastic. They've got a Thanksgiving sub, turkey,
Cranberry.
stuffing, and cranberry. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not a big cranberry fan, but I gotta go and try
Like
my first.
the cranberry sauce, not the band.
Yes. Thanks for clarifying.
Because Dolores O'Rourke
Right.
was amazing.
Yeah.
But I got to go and try it. I'm looking at the promotional stuff in my junk mail, and I'm going, I think that's going to be my
Yeah.
first Firehouse
The
sub.
next time you're down in the D, Jersey Mike's.
Okay.
And when you order it Mike's way.
Okay.
They'll take care of the rest.
Nice.
It's phenomenal.
Okay.
I was there at the Memorial Cup with my nephew. We were eating, and he's like, "Why are you crying?" I said, "Don't worry about it. Maybe I'll tell you sometime soon."
It wasn't the
beautiful.
alcohol.
So
it was.
you don't have to go to Detroit to have it.
It's in Toronto.
There's one in Kitchener.
Well, there's
Fairway.
Kitchener.
Oh, Kitchener, yeah.
Fairview.
Yeah, but I mean,
By the mall.
But Americans are like in love with it.
Well, come on,
Chick-fil-A?
Americans and fast food.
It's
wow,
nuts.
it's.
Well,
I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Isn't
a
that-
drive-through with that many cars. They
Isn't
had
the
2
States-
lanes.
Yeah.
And imagine going to a mall where they had pylons like 50
set
feet
up for
out, set up.
pedestrian control.
Well, set up so that cars would know,
Oh,
because
yeah,
people were all, like, there were so many people coming from so many directions to get in line. the staff had to have the pylons so far out so that cars could start that much sooner. Like, it was crazy.
It's like people are brainwashed or something. Like, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
what is... You look at that. Like, I wouldn't wait in a
Right.
line
No.
at the Stratford Fall Fair for the zipper.
Right.
Never mind,
So then I just said, the hell with that. I'm not going to wait. I turned around, I left, and I came home and got a nice meal at Ellam's when I got into town. So, like, it just... Shout out to Ellam's. We're hoping that you guys reopen. We can bring you on as a sponsor for the show.
We'll do a live. We'll do a live.
I think
I'm sure the electricity
I remember
would be up
the
to
days
code.
when we were buying like single smokes over there at Bentley's when we were at Bentley's.
Oh, I remember as a teenager, I had to have a leak, and I go in there, and it was like straight out of the 50s. They had like the steel stools up at the bar.
Well, it's like Rush.
And-
Time stands still. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they had duct tape on the bench seating, like
Oh
where
my
the
gosh.
vinyl had cracked. Like, classic place, but anyways.
Shiny squirrel we
Right.
just saw. But nonetheless, great conversation.
Right.
Oh, fantastic. Elms. Can you imagine if they were up there?
That would be something.
All right, Les, serve it up.
Calgary Flames.
No thanks.
Yeah.
They're
They're going nowhere.
They're in trouble.
Yep. I think everybody gets fired there eventually.
Craig Conroy just doesn't have the experience to be able to pull that team out of where they are, in my opinion.
Yeah. Seattle Kraken new head coach Dan Belsma.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good hire.
Added Brandon Montour,
Brandon Montour and
Chandler Stevenson.
And let's not forget, and we know this, but Stratford's Jared McCann.
Yep.
Former Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
Like
For
what a
10
Level
minutes.
his jersey's going up.
what a place for him to land.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was he? 24th overall in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Ish.
think so. Out of Sault Ste. Marie.
Yep. And how upset the fans in Pitt were when he left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did the transition over to Seattle. Man, he has found a home.
Oh,
You can say whatever you want. I will argue with you all night long. He's a 40-goal scorer in the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
Bonafide. Yeah.
Incredible.
yeah.
That's Toronto protected the wrong player.
Yes. Well, and that's
Well,
where you go.
again,
Yeah.
like you say, and
Yeah.
it's true. Is there's so
Hindsight's
many
20/20,
examples?
right?
Well, there's so many examples over the league. Who did they protect instead? Kerfoot.
Kerfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
That's what Duba
Sorry.
said before he
Yeah.
left.
Oops.
There's
We
I done-
handcuffed you with money.
Yeah.
Lots of players. Brought Tyson Berry to town. My bad.
right. And it's just evaluating talent.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he's able to convince people that he's the man for the job, but hey, all the more power to him.
I think Tree Living's doing just fine
Yeah.
in Toronto. I wasn't wowed when they signed him, but I don't think for sure that they needed a big ticket GM to do what they were needing to do, because they were so stagnant on their options with their labor problems, with
Yeah.
their pay structure. We'll see.
Like, he inherited a mess, so that wasn't his fault. I didn't like him signing Reeves. I just thought that was
Well, and can't. Like, you
yeah.
don't sign a fourth-line center for 3 years. You just don't.
right.
But,
And
again, I'm a barber, not a GM.
but I do like what he's doing. Like, he knows that his job's on the line. It's what have you done for me lately? And like we've talked about, he's overpaid to get steady D. And if they win in the next year or two, at least make it to the finals. Like, I'm not even saying that they got to win a Stanley Cup to be considered a success. They just have to go deep and get the city believing again, right? Like the 93 era, like where everyone, remember when people would be talking about the game, LA, Gilmore, Gretzky, people would be like, "Where are you watching the game tonight?" Like, it was exciting.
Or let's get together. Whatever.
Yeah.
So here's and again, I preface this with the utmost respect. Do you see after 8 years a difference in your team that's going to allow them to progress? And it's just a question. It's not a shot. It's not a dig or anything.
I think so on the back end.
Okay.
So far, I've liked the way the back ends looked in the preseason. There's
So here's
more
a-
calming influence
Here's a
back there.
question for you. Was it your defense that cost you the first round last year?
No.
Right.
It helped.
it
It
helped.
wasn't the glaring problem,
Right.
but it definitely helped. Like, no disrespect, but the guys that they have now are monsters back there.
Fair. So if it wasn't the back end, in my opinion, you need to see again in year 9, Marner, Matthews, Nylander. You need to see that out of them.
Absolutely.
Do you think that Berube pulls that out of them?
I think that they needed to get rid of, and I'm not saying that
They
was.
need to get
but
rid of Keefe.
They needed to get rid of Keefe in the country club atmosphere because he was not going to get in Matthews' face because he knew that Matthews makes way more money than he does. Craig Berube doesn't care who, Matthews,
True
Marner,
statement.
and he's going to tell you like it is. There's going to be some tough love, and it's either get on or you're going to be sitting. And at the end of the day, Craig Berube's a proven winner. He took a team that was in last place and ended up guiding them. Now, there was a whole other factors, but let's be honest. It starts with the coach, then it's the goalie, and then it proceeds from there. But they believed in what he was saying, and we all saw the meme there last year, the pep talks before Game 7, that he when Berube was with St. Louis, what he
told
said,
them to dig in
and keeps
Keefe said,
have fun.
Yeah.
And you're just
Don't
like,
worry about it.
right? So you wanted to go through a brick wall for Berube, and Keefe, you thought that, oh well, if we win, we win, and if we don't, we don't. But I think that getting him and seeing what Matthews is going to do, like Matthews having that C, it's on you. You are the leader of the team, and like we've talked about before, he's not a big rah-rah guy. He's more of a Stevie Y guy. Hopefully he steps up and puts the team on his back when they need him, not just occasionally. Like, he's going to be the targeted guy when it comes playoff time. We're assuming that they're going to the playoffs, but he needs to put the team on their back and say, come on, guys. Now, he's obviously not going to win a series by himself, but I think that the combination of Berube, Matthews wearing the C, the D now beefed up, I like what they're going to do. They just need to get some decent goaltending. That's the question mark.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's that tangent we've gone on again.
Here's a question that I'd like to ask is you can see the generic answers that you get from Matthews and any star player in the league for that matter. Any post game or pre-game interview, it's how do you feel about the game? How do you feel about your play? You can almost say it verbatim, how common it is and how casual it is and how repetitive it is. What happens, and there's no wrong answers, but what happens with Matthews now being the captain and, just saying, don't dig too deep here, but the Leafs don't win in 4. Matthews doesn't have a goal in 4 or 5. And he's in front of the camera every single night with his captaincy role. How do you think that reflects on this player that can score almost 70 goals in this league?
Well, he's going to have more accountability, right?
Right.
So, he can't just hide out now in the dressing room and let somebody else deal with it. But it doesn't reflect good on him, but I don't think he's going to come out flat. That's not.
The 52 even strength goals he scored last year is more than Ovechkin, Mario, Bossy, Bobby Hull, or Esposito ever managed in a single season. I was surprised when I read that. Ovechkin is a season and something away from passing Gretzky, but people just, I don't know if people 100% realize what we're watching. Like, Matthews is like a lifetime talent, scoring wise.
Razor, I think everybody that's listening to this or watching this completely understands about Matthews and the gem that he is.
Right.
I think the biggest confusion that happens with a lot of people watching your team is it ends at 82 with him.
I agree.
Okay. And I'm not saying that to dig in or to be...
it's factual.
8 seasons, Razor. This Matthews guy on your team is an elite player in the league. Why does it end or why does it tail off in round 1? And I mean, it's not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years. It's 8 seasons. I mean, 15, 16, 17, I give the kid a break. He's breaking into the league,
Right.
everything else. I think that's the biggest mystery, and I think that leaves the biggest question marks with this player. I could be wrong. Look at Ovechkin. He didn't win his Stanley Cup till he was 11 years in the league. That says a lot, too.
Right.
And I'm not saying that Matthews has to win a Stanley Cup this year, but what I will say is I don't think anybody listening to this is questioning his talent. It's when the chips are down.
Yes.
Where is he?
Yes.
It's just a simple question.
And it's an honest question.
100%.
Because he's no dummy. Like, he doesn't just forget how to play.
I think he's the best sniper in the league, bar none. I don't
by
even think
far.
it's close.
It's not. It's not. Like, him and Ovechkin and Stamkos are on a different level, like, sniping-wise. But because of age and where he's at right now, I would say that Matthews is the sniper in the league. But you're right.
I couldn't agree with you more.
You're right. He has to be able to pick it up in April. That's when it matters.
It's a question that's not going to be answered game 1, week 1, month 1, right? It's one of those things.
And
as a Leaf fan, you're waiting for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he has to stay healthy. Like, that's going to be key because it's a grind, right? Like,
it is a grind.
Look at it is the hardest. Tim hit the nail on the head. The Memorial Cup is probably the hardest because they got to do 4 rounds. Then they got to go to the Memorial Cup and play another 3 or 4 games there.
Yeah.
But the NHL, compared to like the NBA and MLB, like, no disrespect, but
it's different.
It is smashing, grinding.
It's
playing every other
comparatively
night.
different, and that's just
It is
just
a
the way
grind.
it is. Yeah.
It is an absolute grind.
Tim sat right there.
Yes.
And he sat with us 2 times, and we're completely thankful for that. But you get the feel of where he's coming from. He's like, when they talk about Holloway and Brogberg that they got from Edmonton this year, they are completely enthralled with them, knowing that they've had a Stanley Cup run.
Right.
There is essence in that.
There was value in that.
There's
and
value in essence.
They were willing to overpay to get that experience
100%.
and the talent.
To be quite honest with you, and we haven't talked about them yet, but I'm going to tell you one thing right now is I'm going to be following a lot of St. Louis Blues this year.
I think they're a dark horse.
What he was saying, I mean, it's contagious what he's talking about. Of course, you're going to talk about your team. You're gonna tell feel good things. He exposed us to a lot of different things
Absolutely.
that I never considered with that team. And, it's not like they're on the forefront of TSN or Sportsnet every morning when they're in the highlights. But I'm going to be following them. They've got a lot of great things going on. They've got a couple of players that are going to be going to our Four Nation camp.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's great.
It'll be great. All right, little update. Atlanta 3-0, bottom of 7th.
Wow.
Okay.
That's bad news for the Diamondbacks.
And this also just in, White Sox owner says 24 season completely unacceptable. No.
Shocking.
I would refer you to our previous episode of Brian Holly. He absolutely nailed it. You can hit 300. You can hit 50 home runs, but try to lose 120 games.
121 games, you can do it in Chicago.
Exactly. So,
all right. Take another break. And
one more break, but before we go, I guess we'll get into a few more of our generous sponsors.
Yeah.
Janet Lang with the Office of Home and Company, a Stratford real estate broker. With over 20 years experience, she has coined the phrase, putting the real in real estate. And the thing that I appreciate about watching her do her thing the most is that she always takes the client's best interest first. So I would encourage you to connect with her if you have any real estate inquiries or acquisitions or selling that you would like to perform.
Brighter Vision, counseling, psychology, and wellness, providing compassionate and effective counseling services to individuals and families in need. They provide a safe and supportive environment where everyone can heal and grow. Brighter Vision.
Thank you so much to that organization and company at Brighter Vision. The Urban Barber, Stratford's barbershop, established in 2019. Ron and Jonathan work alongside me, and we have been in operation for 5 years. Full service barbershop. We do appreciate your patience. We are an appointment-based barbershop that requires about a 2-week wait. Everybody always suggests that's great issues, and it is, but it does come with its challenges. So we do appreciate your patience. And we are fortunate to be in the heart of downtown Stratford on 155 Erie Street, 2 doors down from the world headquarters of Reboot Repair.
And we would like to also thank our good partners at Bentley's Bar, Inn, and Restaurant, the official bar and restaurant of the Armchair Chirpers. 20 draft beers on tap, daily food specials, fabulous place to spend the night in their lofts or executive suites. Locally owned and operated by the Bentley family. Bentley's Bar and Inn.
All right. So we'll take a little break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a Junior B September to remember.
Well said. Looking forward to it.
All right, folks, coming back. GOJHL talk here, but we're going to first look back on a Stratford Warriors, Hunter Steel Warriors, September to remember. 6-0 to start the year. It's happened before, but it's been a long while since I've seen a perfect month.
With this young a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This young a team. This past week, London, the Cole Slattery, Jack McGurn, and Carter Petrie line. My God, these kids can fly. You give them enough space and they just go. Hard fought game, and the game-winning goal with 0.8 seconds left in the second period was probably one of the nicest goals I've seen all year. Jack McGurn behind the net. From my vantage point, it goes between his legs, and Slattery's out front all alone. And he's been getting on the points all night, and he's nobody around him, and he just pots it in. You know, they held on for the win. It was a great road victory. London Wednesday.
Yeah.
Great road victory. And then come home Friday night. And a solid team effort.
I just, not to interrupt, but that was a complete game.
Yep.
In the first period, I don't know what the refs' issues were, and I feel like I'm
I have no
resorting
clue.
back to them the whole time.
It was bad
because I don't like to bitch about the refs, but man, oh man, you couldn't make a move between the two teams.
I'm trying not to when I do the play-by-play bitch about the refs, but it was so hard not to because they were calling stuff that wasn't obvious, and then the obvious stuff was just.
Well, then there was a trip in the Stratford zone in the first period there, like a blatant trip, and they had to let it go because they were getting out of control. Anyways, but
it just ruined the flow of the game too.
It did. And they persevered, and first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Stratford Warriors for their September sweep, 6-0 Razor.
Unreal.
This team, and we got a little, an understanding from Clarkey when he was in here, and with their management team and all that they do with their coaching and stuff. Clarkey says it best. You always wonder what you have. You've got to go through a circuit. Holly said it best last week when he said at Christmas, you really know where you are.
Yep.
Well, you'll take 10 out of 10 times. You'll take a 6-0 start.
Take a 6-0 start. Yeah. You still got to get through the league once to see where you're really at compared to the other teams. But
it's if it keeps going the way that it is, you got St. Mary's that's 5-0. Yeah. How good of a home and home is that going to be?
Chessel
coming up middle of October. Yeah.
Rhett Chessel just gave me a shout out. Rhett. Gave me a text this afternoon. He goes, "Oh, the big kaboom's coming up." I love it.
October 16th.
And just looking at the stats here, you've got St. Mary's has only had 5 goals scored on them.
Yeah. Oh, their goaltending's lights out.
And they've got 102 penalty minutes versus Stratford's 52. So they like to muck it up.
Yeah. So
they're going to be a crash and bang team.
And the biggest thing, Stratford's not blowing teams out here.
No.
You're winning 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. That's the typical score, overtime or close to overtime.
Yep.
Friday night, big goal Cole with another improbable goal.
Love it.
He off his stick.
Was it 5-on-3?
It was 5-on. They were down 5-on-3.
5-on-3.
And he's out killing the penalties.
Trouble, just hustled and just caught the goalie. He just gave it a little flick. It was beautiful.
Like the puck was off his stick, and I'm up there, calling it, going, "Oh, it's going to go to the corner," and all of a sudden, it's in the net.
Wow.
It's just the effort he put forth to get that puck to the net and in the net.
And I think that type of play is contagious for everyone. I just like to mention from Friday night's game when I was there was Dominic Marshall.
Yes.
This player is putting in these efforts, Razor, that you just want to see hard on the puck. There was a couple times he was on the penalty kill. So, it'd be dumped. The whole line would go. He'd go down deep and hold, wait for the support. He'd go to the bench. Like just calculated plays that I was standing with James, obviously.
Yep.
And I'm just going, this player he just understands this.
Right.
And I obviously saw what you're talking about with the pure hustle of Louis. Another one that really stuck out to me physically Friday night was Reese Brown.
Oh, yes.
He just has a very calming play out there, but he just unloads with these plays and these hits that are just really effective throughout his shifts. And I just really noticed that.
Yeah. And then, so Friday night, they talked about at the beginning of the year the referees were going to be more in on players. If you lose your neck guard, you got to go to the bench, right? And it's happened all year. Nobody's called it. Friday night, it finally gets called. A player gets a penalty for playing without equipment. And it was a neck guard. And the general said, you've been harping on it all year. And I said, well, because they told the kids that this is what they're going to call. So if your neck guard comes off, you got to go to the bench. Well, it hasn't happened. And it finally happened Friday night. It was like, all the stuff they called, and they finally called that. But
well, I think they dug themselves too deep in a hole, Les, because I was watching the game, like as you know, and I just saw that they called so many borderline penalties that they had to let certain stuff go. And I was standing up where we usually stand, and all the people that really understand the game, they're like, "What the Sam Hill? Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
You're letting blatant penalties go, and you're calling the borderline stuff, and you get yourself into trouble."
Yeah. So at the end of the first, where I am up in the press box, we're on a commercial break, and you can hear the referee had come over to talk to Williams, and you can hear Williams say to him, all these calls are soft. What do you want me to do? How do I tell these kids what you're going to call if you're calling everything that's soft? And
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And it's tough. And the biggest thing I hear from the kids on this team is their favorite saying is whatever it takes. And right now they're doing whatever it takes to win these hockey games.
So putting aside all the reffing issues that we see, these players are on the ice. They're performing. They are putting in the effort. I can't put a bigger exclamation point on Friday night. I was saying to James, what a combined, solid team effort. And that goes to the coaches, that goes to the players buying in. And again, I always will reference Clarkey, is some of these players are really falling into where they're going to be with this team. You and I talked before tonight, and we're really noticing a huge junior B form for Slattery.
Yeah, he's just playing lights out hockey, and the kid's he's got all the talent in the world. He can skate, he can shoot, he's got everything. But that, what we've dubbed up in the press box, the all-rookie line, is just performing. Petrie's only been back 2 games, and already he's putting points on the board. Great bunch of kids, but it is a team effort. But Carter McDougall's been steady.
Right.
And he makes the big saves when he needs to make the big save. And I think that's what's held the calming influence on the back end there. Like, even that tandem of Campbell and Curtin.
Yeah.
It's such a and they're both rookies, right?
Those two are cool as cucumbers.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they do out there. It was my first opportunity to see Hayden Frayne.
Because he just come back off the injury list too, right?
So. And he played his game.
Yep.
And I mentioned it in the write up with Facebook. If you didn't see it, these type of defense, including Wiseman. This core is going to send a lot of questions to teams that will have to try to be answered, because it's a very sound, tidy defensive end for the Warriors this year that I've seen so far.
The Warriors are not the biggest team in this conference. There's some teams there that they're big teams, but if you can't catch them, if you can't catch them, it's it's hard to hit them.
Or tactical or hockey sense, right?
Yeah, and just get back to the simple things: off the glass and out, off the glass and out. We didn't see enough of that. I've always asked that. What happened to off the glass and out? Why is everybody going? Well, this team seems to be more off the glass and out this year, which is nice to see. Back to the basics.
Safe. Yeah.
So
big cheers and kudos to the Stratford Warriors.
And a big month coming up.
Busy month.
Keep rolling. Yeah. So they
8
start
games in 4 weeks.
Thursday in air. Brian Hawley's going to join me because the Generals will be off for a couple weeks.
Brian Hawley. And we wish
Brian
the best to the
color
for recovery.
Yep. And then 2 dates to circle on your calendar is October 16th. St. Mary's is here at the William Almond on
a
Wednesday night.
Wednesday, isn't it?
A Wednesday night. And then Friday, Stratford's in St. Mary's. So that's
fantastic.
If these teams are playing like they have been, it could be a
it's going to be good.
I think if you can find it in your schedule, Razor, I really think Les will be up in the box, but we'll get Chester and Rhett down here for a Wednesday night, and we'll go out there Friday.
Absolutely.
If it works, because, they're passionate and the heart and soul of Chester's here in Stratford, but he's a St. Mary's boy, and his Rhett is, I read posts from the St. Mary's Lincolns and stuff like that. It's always Rhett.
Yeah,
he has all the stats. He has all the know-how of
awesome.
Educating the viewers of the page. Just big kudos to you, Rhett, and I really look forward to that opportunity for you to come and do a game. And Razor and I will go out Friday night if it works too. But
I'll be there Friday night in St. Mary's.
The big tilt.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're looking for interviews, Jeff and I could probably come up in between periods, and
we can get the Chirpers. We'll get the Chirpers on in the intermission. We'll talk some hockey.
Chirpers
that's what we do best.
and Holly.
Yeah.
Is Holly with you at St. Mary's?
Yes, he is. Well, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know when the general will be back. I know for sure Aaron Caledon and probably the St. Thomas games.
So 5-day contract. I get it, Holly.
Yeah.
Good job.
Nice. Good free agent pickup.
That's right.
Oh, you'll be in good hands.
Yeah, he said he's been listening to the game, so he's got my tendencies down. I said, which tendencies? There ain't no tendencies. I'm just trying to survive up there half the time.
Yeah, and kudos to like I say, our extended wishes, best wishes to the general who's going to go in for a little bit of work. And he'll be great after that. And
he'll come back up all fire and, put us all back in our places.
The general's been there since
43 years. 43 years he's been part of the board of directors.
Yes.
But he was there before that. So he's been there. He's sort of like the wooden seats now, I think.
Yeah, he's
just always been there.
He's a legend.
So, and not diverting any topics, but the Maroons beat
I saw
15-1. Who'd they beat?
14-1, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I forget who they were playing last night.
Oh, St. Thomas.
St. Thomas, yeah. St. Thomas Stars.
So there were so many of their fans on there, and they're just barking. Oh, we haven't seen this landslide. I'm like, do you pay attention to the league? Remember when Buffalo was in the league?
Oh, yeah.
You might remember this. Maybe not, but 1981, Burlington beat Acton 26-1.
I don't remember that.
Okay, well.
Crazy.
The more you know.
That's crazy.
A 14-1 win over St. Thomas, but Friday night they didn't look like a team that could score 14-1.
And it was tight, Les. But,
it was.
But it was a very collective, calculated approach by the Warriors, and I credit the coaching team.
Yeah, the coaching staff is doing an excellent job.
Yeah, and especially for what they were given. And I'm not, here I am, but the refs, like Willie said, that was a warranted comment. How am I supposed to instruct my players how to play when you're calling borderline stuff?
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, the horses passed away.
Yeah. All right.
But,
so we're back Thursday night, Friday night, and then.
Is Air the cold arena?
No. Caledon is, but Caledon's coming to Stratford.
Okay.
Air's a nice arena. It's a newer one, North Dumfries Center.
Okay.
Yeah. They got good hot dogs there, too. Had a hot dog in London. It was okay. Bun could have been toasted. It would have been better. But, trying a hot dog at every arena, see which one's better.
Hey, speaking of hot dogs, they're going to have $1 hot dogs on Saturday at the Almond.
Fightin' Irish home opener.
First of all, congratulations to their season opener last Friday in Petrolia. Yep. So there was a lot of discretion there with I heard some things. Les corrected me. I was receptive to it. I was told Nasher scored a Hattie.
Yeah, and then I looked
apparently he had 2.
Yeah, I looked at the game center, the game sheet, which their website is 100% better improved than it ever has been.
Right.
So it's easier to navigate. So I went to the game center because I saw that, and I thought, I don't think I saw that last night. And then I looked, and he only had 2, but maybe somebody picked up on that penalty he had in the first and caught that as a goal too.
But what a great
good start
out of the gate for newcomer Jared Nash from hometown.
Absolutely.
And Brulot and Leach added added
the usual
to the
suspects,
goals.
right?
Yeah, well said. I was asking Pi a little bit today. I think he was pretty busy with this week coming up, and I understand that. He asked him a little bit about the game. He said the lines were a little bit of a mishmash. He's probably in the same position or is in the same position as, the start of the season, trying to figure out who fits where. There's a lot of new faces this year, which is great. But, ladies and gentlemen, the home opener this Saturday.
Yeah.
Stoked. Razor.
We've been talking about it for the past month or two, and now we're just days away, and it's just such a feel-good atmosphere. We've thrown in the used hockey equipment drive, and we've got a lot of positive response about that. People saying, thank God, my kid has old stuff that's sitting down there that I've been looking for a good home. And it's going to be electric. And I'm really looking forward to it. And people are inquiring about how they get their free tickets. And you just, like we said before earlier in the podcast, come into Reboot Repair, and they have free tickets here waiting for you. And $1 hot dogs, bring some used hockey equipment. We're going to do it, what were we thinking, 5 o'clock?
You and I are going to be down there at 5. The game does start at 7. So, whatever you seem fit, I would say you should come to the game. But if you're not going to come to the game, but you want to kind of get it out of the way,
right?
Razor and I and Les will be there. Or somebody will be there at 5 o'clock to drop it off.
Yeah.
I think that's the message behind that.
Exactly.
Not everybody can make the game, but they have equipment that they'd like to donate. We don't want to deter that. We'll definitely be there to help you out. If you have any more questions, just hit us up on our social media. Give us a DM. We're always on the pulse, so we could answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, and if we don't have the answers, we know people that can get you the answers.
Right.
It's true, but have you heard some of the other details that what Pie's got up his sleeve here in the team? There's lots of great giveaways. The first 300 people are going to get a 3-topping large pizza coupon. He had to cover his tracks. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna go there and you can." No, it's a coupon.
Yeah, but just for the first 300.
For the first 300, he's got fridge magnets. He's got what else we got here? Car flags, the popular car flags. There's going to be 400 are going to be given away. We're going to be there, and we got a little bit of giveaways and just to reiterate, anybody that's going to donate any equipment will get an opportunity to be in a draw for a prize pack courtesy of Armchair, Chirpers, Domino's Pizza, and the Urban Barber. It's going to be a nice little prize pack, and just know that it's fully appreciated, and I just want to make sure that people understand how big of a deal this is for local families of the Rotary Y. It's such a great cause. We haven't seen this in a little bit in town, at least to this magnitude. We really want to pop this off. There's going to be festivities. Bring down the family. And listen, guys, if money's a little tight right now, talk to us. We got you covered for tickets. We want you to be in at the game and enjoy the festivities. There's lots of stuff going on. Bring the kids, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever you want to.
Mistress, whoever.
Yeah. The weekend. Anyways.
Good stuff.
We just really want to make sure that you guys understand how passionate we are about this drive for the Stratford Rotary Y families.
Yeah. And then once you're in the game, make sure you come up and say hi to us in the Armchair Chirper zone. Yeah.
The old AC fan zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure there'll be some shenanigans going on up there.
Well, there'll be that, but there'll also be Dr. Pooley, Bruce Pooley over in the inaugural VIP section. He's actually holding a function up there. And just a reminder to every Crunch membership owner, you would get free entry to the game, and you're going to be up in the VIP section. Don't know if you've heard, it's a pretty big deal. You've got your own private bartender, you've got food, you've got popcorn, you've got pizza. Pie and his team of the Stratford Fighting Irish have really made an effort to make sure that you guys enjoy yourselves. I didn't know this, but he threw out the old cornhole game last week. And so lots of different things. And guys, it's just all about the entertainment, the game, the brand of hockey, the great organization. We are completely pumped.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait for Saturday night. It's going to feel like Christmas Eve there on Friday before we go to bed.
Yeah, it'll be amazing.
Yeah. All right, little quick update. The Atlanta Braves are moving on. 3-0 win.
Okay.
Wow.
This year in the major leagues, no 100-point season team.
Is that right, eh?
Yes, unless you count the 100-win season.
100 win, I was going to say.
Unless you count the 121 losses by Chicago. They're the only triple-digit team in the majors.
Now, is it Tom Glavine or Greg Maddux that's opening for the playoffs?
Yeah, so there you have
What a
it.
pitching, and you know what?
Braves are in.
With all of the heavyweights that they had on that pitching staff, they only won one championship.
Yeah.
That
Can
was
you
the
believe it?
shocking
Bobby
thing.
Cox managing the skip.
Yes.
Yeah, so it all gets started tomorrow night, too.
Yeah.
The Mets,
Tomorrow afternoon.
the Mets have to travel right away.
Tigers.
Where do they got to
are,
go?
Where are they playing?
Let me see if I can find this. I think they have to go out west.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
And that's the NL wild card. I can't find it right now. Somebody's probably
Look
figured
it up
out.
on
Somebody look it up.
TSN.
Yeah, because
San Diego and Atlanta.
Oh.
Then you've
October
got,
1st. Here we go.
The Dodgers.
Detroit and Houston, KC and Baltimore. So I guess the Mets go the next day.
Yeah, they go to Milwaukee.
Or no, they were, yeah.
Brewers.
Yep.
Because it was to be announced.
So, yeah, Detroit, Houston. The Mets play the Brewers, yep. So they will actually, I think they start tomorrow. Yep.
I think you're right.
Yep, they do.
Yeah.
5:30. 5:32. So they leave Atlanta right to Milwaukee. I forgot that was the National League. I was looking at the American League, and the Braves. It's the Braves who have to go out west. They go to San Diego.
Okay. Viewers, listeners, guys, thanks so much.
Yep.
This has been awesome.
Another great time.
You kind of wondered with three of us here tonight, kind of reacquainting ourselves with all these great guests, but we made it.
Yeah, we did. It was good show.
Yeah, we've got some other great guests coming up. A former Stanley Cup champions expressed interest, not Tim Taylor. And so he said that he would be more than happy to come on. And we've got a couple other guys up our sleeve that we're talking to right now.
A couple notables of years past from the Stratford Culletons.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll get this. It'll be us three. A couple of them. We get by.
Yeah, what we're looking at probably trying to do going forward is having a guest on per month and then us on for the other three talking about the usual topics. So we're super excited.
There's so much to talk about,
And of course, we're going to
tomorrow.
sprinkle in the legendary, faculties that are, possibly chess and founts and
bring some of the old guys back.
maybe even someone else. But I'm not going to name any names yet because we have to confirm. But it's always a pleasure, guys. And man, oh man,
Time flies when you're having fun, eh?
The reception that we've had and the listeners that we've had, we endlessly thank you for that.
Yep. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. And remember, it's okay not to be okay. Just start the conversation.
Absolutely, Les. And again, thank you for everything. And guys, be sure to tune into our social media, ultimately Facebook and Instagram. We are throwing stuff up there all the time. We're promoting different things and obviously acknowledging our generous sponsors. So thank you to
And
the
sometimes
sponsors
we
as
take
well.
a shot at each other, too.
Every now and again. It's been a little quiet this year, but you never know.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right, cheers.